Hello, friends. Welcome to Akul Mac Live. And today I want to discuss the importance of democracy and what next we can achieve in the area of democracy. As you know, friends, democracy is a very successful political system. It's age old, tested, tried, and most of the countries are following democracy today. And most of the countries who have signed the UN Charter are following the system. In this democratic political system, people actually cast vote and select their candidate, and hence people's wish is directly translated into political power. The politics of the day then govern the government for a period of 4 or 5 days. However, there are intrinsic problems, and because of that, there is a voice which is asking for, when I say voice, it's the people's voice, which is asking for automation and also casting vote using online mechanism. Why they are asking this? And one of the biggest reason is, let me give you an example. If there are 100 people living in a community and only 70 cast their vote to choose a governor for that community, and out of the 70, say for example, one candidate gets 50% vote, which is lower than the 50% of the total population. So without 100% people casting vote, a minority candidate becomes a majority winner of a political election. And this is why most people want that there has to be mechanism where latest technology can be deployed and latest so that people can actually cast their vote sitting from at home using their mobile devices, so that the number of people who are casting vote can be increased, so more people participate in electoral process. However, even the advanced countries like US and India have not been able to implement the online voting mechanism. Only a small country called Latvia has implemented the system, and there are a lot of question marks. And we will discuss what are these things which is preventing election systems to move online. I think there are two reasons. One is the secrecy about the voter, which is the most paramount, because any vote has to be kept secret. People should not know who has voted for me and who is not. And second thing is security, that means identity of the voter. So because of these two reasons, none of the technology which is available until now ensured that these things are fulfilled, so that the election can be transmitted completely from a manual system to a completely online system. However, this is going to change. The technology which was needed is around the corner, and that is called blockchain. Friends, blockchain was really invented in 1991, but then at that point in time, there were not many takers for it until 2009, when the cryptocurrency was developed using blockchain technology. Blockchain is, as the name suggests, is a very intuitive technology which secures each and every information in chunks of blocks, and each of these blocks are encrypted, which makes it virtually impossible for anybody to hack it. In fact, because of this intrinsic quality of blockchain technology, most of the financial institutions love this, and they want their core systems to run using blockchain. And because of this, even the cryptocurrency is designed on blockchain, and hence it is virtually not hackable by anyone, government or non-government agencies. It's highly secure. So moving on, how it is going to help election process? Well, now because of the power of blockchain and the ethical hacking or unethical hacking is being so prevalent today, the threat of taking your identity being stolen on the internet is far greater than it was ever. So there is a new version of web which is going to come, and it is now dubbed as web 3.0, completely based on blockchain. And since the blockchain technology is so advanced, it will not allow your identity to be taken, to be stolen, or to be misused. It is virtually impossible to do that. And because of that, the next wave of web, which is going to come up in a big way, will not require any passwords. So if you have a one identity, for example, in my case, I have my name, I can use my web using the same identity, and I don't have to use multiple passwords for multiple applications. So the different applications which are existing at this point in time on web will dissolve, and then you will use one web and multiple things on the web without getting logged in into multiple things at the same time. So that is one aspect of blockchain when it comes to Web 3.0. And when the Web 3.0, which is like a couple of years from now, I don't see any hindrance of taking the electoral process also onto the internet, where since your identity is proven, there is no need for proving your identity or walking up to the casting center, or as we call it, where you actually cast your vote. You can do it from your mobile, and that will make it very, very foolproof. And because of that, blockchain is going to allow these politicians and political party to start thinking, or the government of different countries to start thinking, how can we take this election process onto the internet so that more and more people can read my manifesto, engage with me online, and also cast their vote online without the risk of anybody stealing their mandate, which they have casted for a particular candidate or a particular party. One of the key requirements of voting is the voter identification. And that has been a big challenge, because you as a voter can actually vote twice. And sometimes, if suppose you have not voted, somebody else will vote on your behalf. So these are the things which needs to be avoided. There are lots of checks and balances have been built by various election commissions across in various countries. Therefore, for example, in some countries, the voter IDs are issued, which are different from national IDs. And before every election, you need to get to the election commissioner's office and declare that you are the voter ID and this is your voter ID. And just before the election, a list is produced to ensure that these are the authorized voters who are going to vote in this election. And this list is circulated on the casting station. And when you approach to cast your vote in that particular place, the voter ID is then validated before you are allowed to cast your vote. There is another issue which primarily will be resolved with the blockchain being coming up, and that is regarding how your voter ID, after you have casted the vote, is not transmitted back to the political party. The political party should not know who has voted for me and who has voted for me. In both the cases, it should be kept secret. So while you have to ensure that the right voter is following the right practice, at the same time, you don't want to share that information with the political systems. So the political commissions in different countries will have these challenges. Primarily, the blockchain will resolve the identification part of it, and also there will be a new requirement. That means a new system will be required, which will knock off the ID before taking the voter choice into the database of the voters. So I think there is a requirement to bring in that security and secrecy into the system using the blockchain technology, so that the identification of the voter is foolproof. At the same time, the voter identification should not be made public. And that is what is the challenge, the biggest challenge we have in transmitting or converting our manual system, which is currently paper based or electronic machine based, into a completely online system. The key requirement of democratic political system is people actually assemble in thousands they want to listen to the candidate whom they have selected, or they want to listen to multiple candidates at the same time about what are their policies going to be, what they will do for us. And because of that, the huge rallies are organized. These rallies are where a lot of people come, millions of people actually listen over the television and radio sets, and also through the internet, and they want to know exactly what is this candidate or this party, what are their plans are, how they are going to execute and govern my community, my country, my state, etc. And that is why the political rallies become a very, very important part of a democratic system, because if there is no communication from one to many, how the confidence building will happen among the people, among the masses, so that they will go and cast their vote for their candidate of choice. So it is very important that the online system must provide provision, the new online system, so that the candidates will be able to interact online with the people. So the new system, which eventually will migrate, will not only provide the identification verification, but also provide mechanism to candidates where they can actually conduct or hold online rallies or online debates, so that masses can hear and understand what is their strategy going to be in order to govern their area, their country, their state, etc. Just before the election or the commencement of the election process, different candidates and different parties comes out with their manifesto. What is a manifesto? Manifesto is the list of things that they have understood, and they have promised that these are the list of things or activities or provisions or new laws, new changes, regulation, etc. This party is going to bring in next couple of years, during which during which they will actually hold the power of governing the countries and state. And this manifesto is published in a big pump and show. Many parties actually spend a lot of money in making very attractive manifestos with their photograph of the candidates on the cover, and also they actually talk about their strategies, how they are going to do these things. I mean, you can promise that, hey, I will reduce your taxes, I will provide free education, I will give you free transportation, but how you are going to do it? So the entire strategy is also mentioned in the manifesto document. And when the process moves online, I don't think people are going to read the manifesto, which is like a book. It has to be available online, and people may have a different requirement also. What physical requirements people have, but in the online world, people will have a totally different requirements. They will have a new way of actually comparing manifestos. Also, manifesto should be available at the time of voting being casted, so that they can refresh their memory, etc. So all of this needs to be moved in. The process of creation of manifesto also be completely online, where people actually then choose to read what manifesto they want to read. And that is why bringing the manifesto creation and publishing of manifesto must also be considered as part of a new system which will emerge in future. In the current system, many countries mandate that the background of the candidate of the party who is standing in the election must be transparently conveyed to the people. And there is a process around it, so that people can know what is the kind of candidate or what is the kind of person they are choosing to lead their next 4 years or 5 years. So this is a very important process, and there are lot of legal implications around it. So when the system moves online using future technology, the choice of candidate must also be given to the people right there. So whenever they choose a candidate, they can actually not only go to his background, they should be able to know more about the candidate. Who is the person? What he has done in his life? What are his achievements? Does he have an education qualification? Is he experienced enough to take that portfolio? those kind of things, they have to be very, very clearly mentioned. So far in the manual system, none of these things are very, very clearly defined. But when the system moves online, I don't think the candidates will be able to hide from this reality. And hence, the new election system, which is based on blockchain, will allow propagation of this ability of the candidate to tell about themselves to the people, and hence it will become also a very important part of the future election process. Creating this system of online manifesto, online ID, voter ID verification, online verification of candidates, and also casting votes is all fine. But then all this process has to follow certain objective, and the objectives are basically based on what people want. And the politicians actually promote this kind of dialogue with the voters. They usually conduct open forums where people can engage with the politician openly and voice what they need, voice what their concerns are, and so on. And thus the politician form sort of a data center within his party office, where they actually collect the feedback from the people, and then based on that they actually form their strategy. And then they talk about the manifesto. They will say that since people 80% of the people want this, for instance education, then we will actually provide this, we will provide relief on tax, we will provide more jobs. All this is based on certain feedback which they get directly from people. Now when we move online, physical meetings will also have to move online, and therefore the new system must provide a dialogue, a direct interaction between voters or the people or the citizens, and also between the candidates. So there has to be a mechanism where there will be a database collection process where, without revealing identity of the voters, they can actually tell the politicians in the form of surveys or in the form of direct interaction with the candidates about their wishes, about their requirements, about the gaps in the systems that they have, etc. Whatever that people needs. So the needs then becomes translated into the actions for the politicians. When we are equipped to conduct our political elections completely online, that means we are able to transfer all the current systems onto the online mechanism, provide security, secrecy, etc. Still, the voting process is such a complicated process. It actually gives out a lot of data points. It actually conducts a big survey. It does not only provide information about who is going to be the winning candidate and who is going to be the president of the country, who is going to be the prime minister or chief minister of a state. Actually, it gives a lot of other information. It also gives information about how many people voted for a particular candidate based on particular ideology. It also gives information about how many different types of people speaking different languages and how they have voted. So basically, lot of data patterns emerge out of a voting process, and it is happening even today. How the people are voting will determine how the voting process will evolve in next 10 years. So therefore, considering the gravity of secrecy and security, the new system will have to be ensuring that these data analysis or data marts should be used responsibly, because by way of millions of people voting on the same system, the system will have the ability to create different demographic, different kind of data scenarios and presenting that to the government. And so therefore the election system must be immune to all this data analysis. There could be some other data processing, there could be some census based data processing, but I think that we have to think. Right now the clarity is not available right now how this whole thing will pan out. But I think one thing is very clear, that eventually, sooner or later, the election process has to move in the online medium. Friends, the future looks very promising. Blockchain is very, very promising technology. I think we must accelerate our efforts. All the governments across the world must accelerate and bring out Web 3.0, which is based on blockchain technology. It will actually create a lot of good infrastructure for us. It will also increase a lot of secrecy. It will also protect our identity, and we also be able to launch our election system completely on Web 3.0, and this will also increase the participation of number of people voting, because currently it is less than the number of voters which are available, because many people don't go to vote. And because of this quality, you will be able to launch out applications for voting with security and secrecy on the mobile devices of the people, and then you will be able to make the election process mandatory. That means if the citizen is in the country, you have to vote either for this party, this candidate, or somebody else. You have to vote. It must be made compulsory. Or you can say that, hey, I don't like any one of them, and you can abstain. But voting has to be compulsory. So once that blockchain based Web 3.0 comes, I think we are going to enter a new type of political system. It's going to be very exciting. Let me know what you think about this, and I'm eagerly waiting for your comments. As you know, I respond to each and every comment. So I say goodbye only for today, to catch you again in the next one.